Hello and welcome to Middlesex Moments, the news and information program produced by Middlesex Community College. I'm Steve Minkler, Academic Dean and Lead Campus Administrator at the college, and your host for these programs. The purpose of Middlesex Moments is to give you a small glimpse into the programs and services offered by Middlesex Community College. You'll meet faculty, staff, and students, and you'll learn about the ways in which the college partners with businesses, agencies, and school systems to create a stronger community for those whom we serve. Usually these programs come to you from the radio and TV studios in our Center for New Media, but today I'm actually in the city of Meriden at the Superintendent's office for the city of Meriden with my guest, Dr. Mark Benigni. Thanks for joining me today, Mark.
Thanks, Dean Minkler. Glad to be on the show.
Great. Now, Mark, when you were a little kid, did you say, hey, someday I'm going to be a superintendent of schools? I mean, how did you get to where you are?
I can assure you that my teachers never thought I was going to be a superintendent of schools. And I think I was always intrigued by learning. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed challenging myself. I enjoyed being challenged. And I enjoyed working with people. So I think if you put all that together, a job in education makes a lot of sense. Right. So I think for me, while I didn't necessarily see myself being a superintendent, I definitely saw myself working with people. And that's what this job is all about. I get to work with staff, but I also get to work with great students every day.
Right. And how long have you been superintendent for Meriden?
So this is year 8 for me as superintendent in the Meriden Public Schools. I had spent a couple years as principal at Cromwell High School and about 7 years in the Berlin Public School system, working at their high school as an assistant principal.
Right. And what's sort of the thing that brings you the most excitement or the most joy about your work, working with kids of all ages in our public school system?
I think what brings me the greatest excitement, it's what is the passion inside me, is really seeing students give themselves a chance for a better life. So when you work with a student for many years and you see them their culminating activity, graduation, knowing they're going on to college, maybe going on to Middlesex, maybe earning Middlesex credits when they're in our schools, knowing that they're setting themselves up for a productive future is what makes this job so rewarding.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, we kind of see that at the college as well. Our role really is to help students discover who they are, who they're meant to be in life. And that's through the education they get with our schools and the kind of things that they do outside of the classroom too. And your system is really known for fabulous programs in music and sports and lots of other things that you're doing to bring more out of what the students can achieve.
Without question, school is much more than the classes students take every day. It's all the extracurricular, the co-curricular activities. It's about building relationships with their peers. I'm proud actually, our performances get great attendance. Our sports teams are doing well. Students have many opportunities to be involved. A group of students just participated in the Youth in Government program up at the Capitol. We're proud that Meriden will be the home of the next governor for Youth in Government. But really, schools should be about authentic learning, and we have to embrace some of those learnings that occur outside the traditional classroom.
Right. And how do you go about making sure students have that experience through your leadership team at the various schools in the city of Meriden?
I think what we do to make sure they have those opportunities is, we prioritize that. So everyone's dealing with difficult budgets, but if you look at school as being much more than 6 hours a day, 180 days a year, you have to value the entire experience. And while we're proud of some of the gains we made on standardized test scores, we also know that we want to create schools where students and staff want to be. That's equally as important to us. And part of what makes students have interest in school is when they can pursue their own passion. And that may be involvement in a sports team. It may be involvement in the choir group. But it also may mean participating in a youth in government program. It may mean starting their own club. It may be creating their own personalized learning experience at the high school setting. So we really try to provide a vast array of experiences. And believe me, I hear firsthand because my son Blake's in 5th grade at Thomas Hooker and my daughter is in 6th grade at Washington. And I can assure you that I get honest feedback from the two of them about our school system.
Yeah, that always helps. Well, Mark, it's time for a short break. And for our listeners, when we come back, we'll have more with Superintendent Mark Benigni from the city of Meriden. I'm Steve Minkler. You're listening to Middlesex Moments. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Middlesex Moments, coming to you from Middlesex Community College. This is Steve Minkler, and I've been speaking with Dr. Mark Benigni, who's Superintendent of Schools for the City of Meriden. Before the break, we were talking about the role that the school system plays in developing a community, a sense of community among the students and their teachers and administrators, both at the school and outside of school. And the city, and Mark, you've been great about making sure that the schools have exciting partnerships in the community with businesses, with people who've made major grants to the city schools, and talk a little bit about the kinds of connections that you've been able to make to enhance the education that students get in the city of Meriden.
Sure, you always start with the local partnerships, whether that's with the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, Girls Inc. How can we work together? How can they help support our students, and how can we help support their organization? And community health centers, a key partner. They're in our schools working with our students and families. But I also, and maybe it's because of the difficult economic times, you really look for partners from outside the city. It could be state or national foundations. We have a terrific relationship with the Nellie Mae Education Foundation. They're really working with us at the high school level to see how can we give students more voice and choice in their learning. How do we create those student-centered learning environments where students have a say but also feel challenged? And the whole goal is how do we improve graduation rates and assure that when our students leave our high schools, they're truly ready for you at the college level or they're ready for competitive employment. And those have been multi-million-dollar grants, and the work we're doing could not be done without a partnership that we have with Nellie Mae. Another key funder that we have working with us is the Dalio Foundation's RISE Network. And really what we're working there at, again, more of a high school initiative. We're tracking incoming ninth graders. So we're looking at our 8th grade students, and we're seeing who's most at risk for not being successful in high school. And what can we do prior to them experiencing failure to engage them and assure that they're ready. We run a 3-week summer program for those students. They work directly with a transition support counselor at the high school level. Those individuals work with small caseloads. We're tracking student progress. We're making sure that our students are on track for 4-year graduation. And now we're raising the bar and we're tracking B's or better, because we know just graduating isn't enough, but students who do achieve B's or better are much more likely to be successful at the college level later in life. So it's those grants that are allowing us to be innovative and creative during some of the most difficult economic times.
Yeah. And how, speaking of that word, innovation, how do you define innovation as an educator, someone who's been a teacher and principal and now a superintendent? What do you look for when you look for innovation?
So I look, in general, I think it's my role as superintendent to create an environment where people are comfortable taking a risk, trying something new, and recognizing that it doesn't have to be successful. But we don't want to keep anything going on that's not successful. So let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Let's be open with one another. Let's be creative. Let's, think outside the box a little bit. And there isn't a crazy idea. The only crazy idea is not trying something that you think might be good for students. So if we're open and honest, we need to try 10 or 12 different things, and maybe only one of them will be a big success. But if we're open and honest, we're not afraid to take that risk. At the end of the day, I think it leads to the innovations and the creative endeavors that really have moved this district forward. And some of the things we've done in going one-to-one, not many urban districts did that. We broke down those barriers. Rather than suspending students or giving them detentions for bringing their phones to school, we now are utilizing phones as a learning device. We're working with students. We're getting their feedback and input. What they told us over and over again: why do you care if I'm sitting at lunch and I'm checking a text or a message? If I'm passing in the hallway, so long as I'm not a disruption to others, do you really care that I'm on my phone? And when you think about it, no. Why would we? So that was breaking down some of those barriers are where we started, but now it's like, how can that device lead to greater learning?
Yeah.
We don't have to teach students anymore to remember facts, because they can just ask their phone.
That's right. Yeah, everybody's got a mini computer in their pocket nowadays.
Right.
So why not use that if we can?
And leverage that for better learning.
Right. And your district, because of that, is known for technology innovation and how you've spread the use of technology. Bring your own device now, and many students are given portable devices, right?
So we're one-to-one, basically. Our middle and high schools, all students will receive a device, and we listen to our students. At first, we thought they would want a more portable device, an iPad, something, Lenovo tablets we tried. But now what they're saying is the price point on Chromebooks are great, and they can do a lot more with that. And they don't really need a tablet, because most of them now have their own phones. So We've gone heavy with Chromebooks at the middle and high school level. We're completely one-to-one. Grade 4 and 5, while students don't bring their devices home, we're one-to-one grades 4 and 5. And we probably, if you look computer by computer, we're probably one-to-one just about across the district now. Our middle and high school students do bring their devices home, and we encourage them to keep them over the summer months. You wouldn't give a student a great book and say, I have to take that back. I know you're 2 chapters away. Well, if we're really teaching them how to use their device as a learning tool, well, we want to encourage that over the summer. The other thing we do over the summer is we offer online classes where students can earn high school credit.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And you talked earlier about having students sort of find their voice or giving them agency in what they do while they're in school. What ways does that play out? How are students involved in some of the decision-making that happens at their schools?
Sure. I can reference recently we did these, everyone was saying there's going to be walkouts. So we kind of flipped that and said, why don't we do a support walk? So why don't we do a little ceremony where we really support and say, look, these are our schools. So rather than telling students, no, they can't, our message was, can we partner with you on this? Let's plan something that's safe and good for everyone. Let's give students choice. So if students don't want to participate, they don't have to. Right. Let it be student-led. We don't need to speak at it. It's your event. We just want to work with you on it. And all 4 secondary schools really did walk of support or a ceremony of support where they were basically sending a simple message that these are our schools. We want them to be safe. We know the value of our schools, and we want to work together. And I thought it was a great opportunity for students to really show compassion and empathy for others. Because what we do know are those skills. There isn't a machine. There isn't a device. There isn't artificial intelligence who's going to embed those skills into our students. We need authentic learning opportunities like what occurred in Florida to give them an opportunity to share their voice, which I couldn't be more proud with how they did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they need to hear the support from the adults around them too, that it's that we care about what they believe in as well. I mean, it's amazing to see the group of students from Florida starting a national movement of this kind.
It's amazing. But it doesn't surprise me because whenever we really listen to our students and give them true leadership opportunities, they never let us down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one of the partnerships that we've created together, is a strong partnership between Middlesex Community College and the city of Meriden. And that really has played out most recently in moving our Meriden Center to Platt High School. You've got, gorgeous schools that you've been able to renovate recently. And I think, you and I together believe that giving students the opportunity to have college-level classwork in their school is important. But specifically, as someone's coming from the K-12 system, why do you believe that that's so important for students at that age to have that opportunity?
I think it sends all the right messages. I think from day one, as early as kindergarten, we need to send a message that it's not about high school graduation. It's about college graduation. It's about making sure you have career readiness skills. I mean, this was a great opportunity, and I appreciate your partnership on this, and I would be remiss if I didn't thank our state delegation, yes. Senator Suzio, Representatives Abercrombie, Altabello, and Santiago, who met with us numerous times and kind of shepherded this through. But it didn't make sense to not have a Meriden campus, and we have beautiful facilities, and this is working out so well. So for us, we're thrilled. So we can offer Middlesex a quality learning space for their students, and you can open up these classes to our students. And,
absolutely. And
you're seeing already the numbers. More and more students are signing up for these classes that they couldn't possibly afford at this point, but because of this partnership, they have access to those classes. They're earning college credits. And more importantly, they're seeing what type of effort they're going to need to make to be successful in college. And what I love about my job is the challenge, and I think students are, liking that challenge as well. So I think it was a win-win for our students, and it really made us think a little bit differently about what we're even doing at the middle school. So now our middle school students can earn a series of high school credit classes. Oh, sure. And if our middle school students are earning high school credits, well, then our hope is and our anticipation is that our high school students will earn college credits. And when I look further ahead, I hope someday we're able to partner together, whether it's the two of us or whether it's people who sit in our positions later, to really allow our high school students to leave with a high school diploma, but also a 2-year degree from Middlesex. Sure. I think that's where I'd like to see us go, and I think we're building the foundation for that, Steve.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, we are tracking the students who are taking the courses through our Platt program in the evening, and if you think that they can combine those with dual credit courses they take from Middlesex or UConn, advanced placement courses and so forth. I mean, we're on the road now for a couple of students to be able to say they're graduating with at least a semester, if not 2 semesters worth of credits under their belt.
And it's amazing. And I think the cost savings for the family is a big plus. But also I think our students are leaving more ready to be successful at college.
Right. Well, and they're doing what you said before about just in general leadership, is that the students aren't failing us. I mean, they're not, it's no surprise to us that they're going to rise to that level. We set the bar up here, they're going to meet it, and they're going to exceed it, which is really exciting to watch. And it's been a fabulous partnership also to have, college students, our traditional students, in the same classroom with high school students who are keeping pace. It's fantastic.
This is a win-win for everyone. And I also, I thank you, because you needed to be willing to take a risk, to be innovative too. And I think for both of us, it's been an innovative, creative partnership. In the end, our students benefit, Middlesex students as well as our high school students.
Definitely. Well, time for another quick break. You're listening to my conversation, Steve Minkler here with Mark Benigni, Superintendent of Schools in the City of Meriden, here on Middlesex Moments. More when we come back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Middlesex Moments, the radio show from Middlesex Community College. This is Steve Minkler, and I've been speaking with Dr. Mark Benigni, the Superintendent of Schools for the City of Meriden. Before the break, we talked about the partnership that the college and the public schools have by locating our Meriden Center in Platt High School here in the City of Meriden, and we talked about the opportunity that gives the students at the high school level to get college credit. Mark, what are your thoughts for the future of this partnership? Do you see it growing, expanding in some new ways, perhaps?
Definitely. I mean, my hope is that the community college will offer additional certification programs here, and I know I want to see that center continue to grow and build, but I also want to track the number of students that we have participating and see our numbers increase. There's nothing better than hearing a parent say, my child is starting 1 semester ahead in college. And it was because of the classes you offered here in Meriden. Mm-hmm. And I think Middlesex has been a key partner with us in that work. So I'd like to see the number of students who are challenging themselves with a college-level class increase, but I'd also like to see the total number of credits our students leave high school with increase. And ultimately, I want students leaving with that dual diploma. I want them to leave with a 2-year college degree from Middlesex and their high school diploma in their other hand. And when we get there, and the majority of our students are leaving, that's when I'll feel like we've really reached the peak.
Good. Yeah, and I think it's all about giving additional opportunities to our students. Is the Meriden District still involved with the expanded learning time schools at the elementary level? And if so, how's that going?
Sure. We say over and over again that the more students need more time, and that time doesn't have to necessarily be sitting in a traditional classroom, but the more involvement we have with our students, the better the results will be. So we launched 3 expanded learning time elementary schools where students attend 100 minutes more per day. During those 100 minutes, it's not the same old instructional techniques. It really is teachers teaching to their passion. They may be running a scrapbooking class. They may run a yoga class. So teachers teach to their passion. Students have a little bit of choice in the learning, and we really believe that it, first of all, creates a more engaged student, but also helps our staff explore their interest areas as well. So we have 3 elementary schools, Pulaski, Sherman, and John Berry, where students attend 100 minutes more per day. Equals over 40 additional days of school a year. So over a student who spends 5 years with us, or 6 years, actually goes to school a whole additional year more than their peers.
Yeah, right.
And the results have been fairly positive. John Berry continues to make great growth. The high needs populations at Sherman have shown some significant increases. In Pulaski, 1 year was a school of distinction at the state level. So we're pleased about it, and we believe that it's one way to give our students additional time. We also support all the extracurricular and co-curricular activities we talked about earlier. And we really embrace the concept of anytime, anywhere learning, so letting students participate in online courses, online summer courses, are all things that we're embracing in the Meriden Public Schools.
Great. And the system was also recognized for the work you've done in redesigning the special education curriculum, too.
Sure, I think part of it was by need. We said, we're putting students on buses, we're transporting them all over the state. Why can't we do it here in Meriden? And what we wanted to do was design high-quality special education programs. And Edutopia covered our sensory room at Hanover, and it received the most views ever. It's like 9 million views about that program. And 100 Ed recognized Meriden for their work around special ed as one of their 100 most notable global innovations. And we're really proud of the work we're doing with special ed because we feel like we're giving our students a better opportunity for success. And I think the families are embracing the programs we have here. And at the same time, there's cost savings in our budget by doing it locally. You're not paying for the transportation. You're not paying someone else to provide the service. You're really partnering together here in Meriden. And we're very proud of those efforts. And we say we want to be a system for all students. We talk about how we challenge some of our higher performing students, but we also want to make sure we're providing high quality programs in the special ed arena as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And you've also, the city of Meriden's a very welcoming city to begin with, and the school system brought in close to 200 students from Puerto Rico who were displaced because of the hurricanes last year. And you told me earlier that they felt very welcomed by the school system.
We had over 160 students enroll in the Meriden Public Schools from Puerto Rico. I think right now at present time we're around 125 who are in our system. We expect the majority of them to remain in our system. And I'm really proud of our staff who opened the doors and was very supportive and creative about including these students and making sure that their classmates and their students themselves were providing an inclusive environment for the students. And also making sure that we looked creatively with how we would provide the supports they need, because they went through a horrible tragedy, but they didn't show up here with documentation and paperwork as to what are their learning needs, what are their learning styles. So we were all kind of hitting the ground running here, but I can't be more proud of the work of our staff and of our student body. And I say it over and over again, you say a lot about a community, about how you treat others, and especially about how you treat people in their time of need. And I'm proud of the work we've done here, and I thank the staff and students for their efforts.
Yeah, no, you've got a great staff at all of your schools, yeah. And in terms of supporting students in their time of need, to take you back a little bit to something we spoke about earlier, which was some of these tragedies, most recently the one in Parkland, Florida, where we're, trying to support students who may have gone through an awful tragedy like that, and hoping that never happens in one of our schools. How do you prepare for that as a superintendent of schools?
Sure, I think safety is always our first priority, and people can have differing opinions on how you make a school safe. But what I tell everyone is, let's not talk about what we're going to do after a tragedy. Let's share what we've already done to make our schools safe for students. And safety isn't just cameras and making sure your doors are locked. That's part of it. But safety is really making sure students know that there's outlets for support. So a few things that we've done, and we have a climate suite of tools here in Meriden. It's a climate survey that our students, staff, and parents complete. It's also a getting to know you survey that all of our students complete. And it's the MPS Cares portal where students can reach out for help at any time. That's really our climate suite of tools. So if a teacher was struggling to get to know a student, like what's making this student click? There's something that just doesn't seem right here. Well, they can review their Getting to Know You survey, find out their interest area, and maybe connect with the student based on their interest area. Just recently, and we never want to say we're always going to look at safety. We're not done. You don't create a safe school and then don't try new things. You learn, you improve your systems. So we did go to keyless entry at all of our schools. We do have numerous cameras throughout the district. We, after this last situation, met with the police department who review our safety plans and work closely with us, have a great working relationship with the Meriden Police Department. And we talked about what would help them if there ever was a tragedy. What could make their job a little bit easier to support us and our students. So they now will have complete access to our camera system, off-site, in their car on their way over. They also will have keyless entry to all of our buildings, so they won't have to buzz in or wait. They're going to be able to get in. As a system, we're now piloting a new product, which is an anonymous tip system. It's through a vendor called Gaggle, and what students will be able to do is if they see something that concerns them, so we're going to call it NPS Cares Speak Up. So if you see something that's a concern, you could text this number, you can call this number, you can email, and it's monitored 24/7 by an off-site vendor who will let us know if there's an emergency in place. We always had a product that we used to monitor our devices. So if anyone was working in the Google suite and put a comment that was of concern, I'm feeling down on myself, I'm not sure life's worth living, we'd be notified right away. If someone put, I feel like I'm about ready to explode and shoot up this school, we would be notified right away. Yep. But I think it's those proactive measures that will make the difference. A lot of people will talk about metal detectors. Well, you can see many times that's the least effective way. It may send a clear message, but it might not be the most effective way to prevent a tragedy. And I think what we're doing here in the Meriden Public Schools is being proactive, getting to know our students, making sure there's outlets for our students to report incidents. Yep. And the way that most of these things have been avoided are because someone saw something and spoke up. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. And we'll continue to work with the Meriden Police Department. We'll continue to work with our school leaders, and we'll continue to give our students an opportunity to speak up when they see something that doesn't seem right.
Sure. And I would think it's got to be helpful as somebody who grew up in the area. You were formerly a mayor of the city of Meriden, so you've got all these connections built into your DNA, who you are as Superintendent Benigni.
And I know that I don't have all the answers, and I'm not afraid to reach out for help either, or to tap on another community resource to say, hey, look, you're the expert here. Let's work together and guide us. And it's been through partnerships that this school system has moved forward and achieved some significant awards. It's been recognized and featured in publications. But it really is about creating that climate where people are comfortable to collaborate, to try new things, to be innovative, to be creative, and to not be afraid to say, this is wrong, this doesn't work.
Yeah. And it's a place where kids are going to get a great education and have a great future ahead of them.
Without question. I wouldn't have my own children in this school system if I didn't believe that this was a great place for learning. And I love the fact, while I'm concerned what their test scores are and what their report cards, like any other parent out there, I'm most appreciative that every morning they get up wanting to go to school. Yep. Because that's what will make the difference.
Awesome. Well, Mark Benigni, Superintendent of Schools for the City of Meriden, thanks for being with me today on Middlesex Moments.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate all the partnerships we have with Middlesex.
Great. Well, and thank you for listening to another edition of Middlesex Moments. As always, you're welcome to visit us in person at our Meriden Center located at Platt High School, 220 Coe Avenue in the City of Meriden, where we offer afternoon and evening classes 4 days a week. Certainly, you can come to our main campus at 100 Training Hill Road in Middletown. And you can always visit us online 24/7 at mxcc.edu. So on behalf of all the faculty, staff, and students, and Superintendent Benigni, for all of us from Middlesex Community College, I'm Steve Minkler, and we hope to see you again soon.